Speak to Alice and speak now. Contrary to what you may be thinking, this note has little or nothing to do with speaking to the literal Alice. In all my years of existence, I've not had to speak to a lot of Alices, so I would be the worst person to advise you on the best way to speak to Alice. But then the caption of this episode came from the song Living Next Door to Alice by Smokie. I won't assume that you know the song because some people like to think my music choices are kind of weird for a young person, so I'll just give you a synopsis. The song tells the tale of a man who has loved his neighbor Alice for 24 years but has never revealed his feelings to her. He learns through a mutual friend Sally that Alice is moving away. As he watches Alice depart in the limousine, he regretfully realizes that it's too late and he has already lost his chances with her. However, in a funny twist, his friend Sally then discloses that she has also waited 24 years for a chance with him. The message here is about opportunities, and there are two key things I'd like to point out. The first is from the protagonist. Let's call him John. John clearly knew what he wanted, but he was waiting for the perfect time for a whole 24 years. That length of time is insane, you may think, but that will be your story if you don't do what you need to do and do it fast. Sally also knew what she wanted, but because she knew that John preferred Alice, she never took her shot for 24 years. Maybe she felt she didn't measure up to Alice. Maybe she felt she wouldn't stand a chance. The fear of rejection held her back all those years. Imagine losing 24 years of your life to the fear of rejection. Lots of people refrain from taking their shots at life and at opportunities simply because of the many what ifs. What if I try and fail? What if I embarrass my family? What if I send the wrong message? What if I get turned down? But you see, I learned a valuable lesson years ago from Jack Canfield's book Success Principles. He called it Ready, Fire, Aim. The popular narrative is to get ready, take aim, and fire. But sometimes we aim for too long, and by the time we are ready to fire, the game is already over. How about you fire first? See how far away from the target you are. Adjust your aim and fire again. You may think you are too young to start at 21. In the twinkle of an eye, you realize you are 31 and you wonder where the years went. I know that in some cases you only get one shot, and so in such a situation it's normal to be afraid of what will happen if you miss the shot. But you also need to understand that most of these things are usually time bound. If for instance you see a job advert and the deadline is 2 months from today, you could spend the next 2 months getting the perfect CV and cover letter. But you can be sure that if the recruiter sees a good fit in 5 days, your perfect CV may be as good as useless. The goal is to strike a healthy balance between taking the shots you need to take and getting it right. I'll share 2 personal experiences with you. I was paying a monthly subscription for a service and I felt I could get a better deal for a lower price. So I spoke to the person in charge requesting for a downward review, and he said no with reasons. I also gave him reasons why it could work and proposed mutually beneficial adjustments. Long story short, I got my deal and it ended in a win-win situation. Knowing that the more likely response would be no, I could have remained mute and kept on paying a high subscription. But by speaking up, I opened up grounds for negotiation and got what I wanted in the end. Second example, I wrote a test. I was told by the assessor that I didn't make the quota and I would not be able to rewrite the test until 2 years later. I knew that I wasn't willing to wait for a whole 2 years, and I honestly felt I was qualified. So I crafted a strong email and sent it to them, attaching relevant documents and requesting for a special consideration to rewrite in a few months. Days later, I got a response, and guess what? Well, it was a no. This particular no didn't change, but the lesson here is that I had absolutely nothing to lose by sending that mail. I gave myself a 50% chance of getting a yes. Without making that move, I had a 0% chance of getting a yes. Majority of the time, we have nothing to lose and everything to gain by taking our chances. If you need to ask for a discount, go ahead and ask. If you need to ask for a raise, go ahead and ask. If you need to ask for a favor, go ahead and ask. And if by some chance it's Alice you need to speak to, please go ahead and speak to her. You may get a yes, you may get a no, but at least you would have saved 24 years of your valuable time. And perhaps after the no, you just might notice that Sally was right beside you all along and you were too blind to see. Learn to speak up. Learn to ask. Before you ask, you don't have it. After you ask, you probably still won't have it. Or you probably will. But by simply asking, by making the move, you increase your chances of success by 50%, sometimes 100%, because there are even cases where things are valuable to you just for the asking. Action plan. There's something you know will change the course of your life if you got it. And for the longest time, you've been holding back because you're not sure if it's the right time or if the conditions are perfect. Just go ahead and make that move this week. I'll be glad to know if you got a yes. And if you also got a no, well, we move. Life will go on, it never stopped for a moment. So if you don't want to deal with the pain of watching Alice drive off in a limousine after years of inaction, go ahead and speak now. Alright, this is where we wrap up today's notes. Beyond just listening, I hope you take action. I hope you share this with someone if it was insightful, and I hope to see you on the next episode. Till I come your way again, keep being amazing. My name is Murphy Nnamdi Ochoa.